They were there to cross the battlefield, to crush down the barbed wire, and let our infantry, who followed on behind at marching pace, get in the German trenches without getting held up and massacred. Now, by the Second World War, tanks are doing many more things on the battlefield, not just being battering rams. They're much faster at what they do as well. And that's when countries start designing vehicles to put soldiers in the back of to keep up with the tanks. And if you've watched all your war movies, things like the Germans and the Americans had half-track vehicles in World War II. Now, by the time this vehicle was made in the 1960s, pretty much every army in the world that built a tank had an armoured personnel carrier like this. A box on tracks, put the soldiers in the back, carry them forward into action. Now, on this particular vehicle, we've actually got some volunteers in the back. They're going to stand up now and give you a wave. They are people just like yourself. A bit earlier on in the display, here this morning, we grabbed them out of the audience and takes us back to the era we call the Cold War. That was a time when all the Western, the capitalist countries, maybe led by America or the NATO countries, we thought we might be going to war with the Eastern Bloc countries, led by communist Russia. And we knew the Russians had thousands and thousands of tanks. And we knew we would never match them, number for number, tank for tank. So in the West, we decided to go for a technologically advanced tank, using that goes behind this tank, the British Army's Chieftain tank of the 1960s.
Chose qu'à ce mur.
Now, as part of your training in a Chieftain, you were actually locked inside that vehicle as what they call the NBC, Nuclear, Biological and Chemical. To capture them out. Where are they? You must have seen one panto. Come on, where? Right, here they are, the bad guys, okay? These are the Ruritanians. Now, like many countries nowadays, the Ruritanians, they don't build their own tanks, they buy them from someone else. And this one is a really good tank. This is the tank the Germans made after World War II. They said, no, we're not going to build a whopping great big tank like the Tiger, really big and heavy. We're going to build a fast tank, a really mobile tank. And they got a really good gun. The 105mm gun we had on our tanks in Britain, we sold it to them, 40 extra armour around the turret, so it's got even more protection. Right, they found their target, the mound at last. What do we think of him? Thank you, remember, he's a bad guy. Pretty ugly as well. Get on with it. Now, 105mm gun, so very powerful. And you can see that big bit on the back of the turret. That's to clean the air that's going inside. So again, if there was a chemical attack, the guys inside the tank would all... hold the ground. So it's really important that they're still up there with the fighting tanks. So there they are, working their way forward, making the approach, following the information that the reconnaissance vehicle has sent back. They know there's a route round the side, up the flank, and the 432, the armoured personnel carrier, don't forget the guys, the soldiers in the back, they could have been bouncing around the Ruritanian Leopards. Whoop, looks like we got a hit on the Leopard tank, working their way forward in what the army would call a section or a pepper pot attack. The idea there being one section's run forward, nice straight line, drops down, here comes the second section dropping forward, and the idea of the straight line is not because the army thinks straight lines look nice and neat, it's so you don't run in front of the lot. They're charging the enemy now. Bit of fitness training needed by one or two of the volunteers. And, well, what's happened to the Mauritanians? They've thrown in the towel already. They seem to have given up. We've got any... Oh, pathetic. Look at that. Mauritanians have thrown in the towel. Well done, our volunteers there. Well done. Now, it actually takes the British Army volunteers. They really didn't know what they were letting themselves in for. They've done very well to pick all that up in about 20 minutes before the display. So hopefully we'll see the Union flag going back up the flagpole so we can all sleep safely in our beds tonight. Well done, the volunteers there. And you can imagine all the stories they'll be telling in the pub.